Hello, and welcome to the Trail Manners Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Manning, coming to you from the beautiful trails in Ogden, Utah, but connecting you to wherever trail, ultra, and mountain running takes us. We'll bring trail running to life with amazing athletes, discuss the latest topics, epic journeys, and get you stoked for your next trail adventure. We're sharing the moments that make life special, because even a rough day on the trail beats a good day indoors, and nothing beats time spent with good friends and great stories. Catch us here weekly for your dose of dirt, vert, and good vibes. So now it's time to top off your water, grab some cheese curds, and join us for this week's podcast, where we take you deep into the heart of our sport. It's go time. Hello and welcome to episode number 336 of the Trail Manners Podcast. The Trail Manners Podcast is produced for your enjoyment, and show notes are found at trailmanners.com. Come back often, and please feel free to add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Trail Manners, and don't forget to subscribe, review, and rate us on iTunes. Trail Manners really appreciate any donations via our website at trailmanners.com, and please remember to share us with your friends. All links are in the show notes. Now let's get after it. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Trail Manners Podcast, episode 336. We're getting closer to 400. It might take a few more years the way we go, but launch date for here is 11/12/24. This launches November 12th, 2024. I am your host, Eric Manning. Hope you caught the last episode. We had a great guest on. We brought her back from 2017. Sylvia Greer kind of broke down what it takes to be just a complete mountain badass. She just crushes everything she does, and just one of the nicest people in our sport. So hope you had time to listen to that, and you're really going to want to pay attention. The next two podcasts, we are back with our Christmas gift guide, and I've got some special co-hosts coming on, both for the men's Christmas gift guide and the women's Christmas gift guide. So pay attention to those for the next two podcasts. But right now, we're going to introduce you to our new guest. Never been on our show before. We flirted with it a few times. I'm bringing on Mr. Michael Whiteside. Michael, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Nice.
Good to be here.
It's awesome to finally have you on. We've talked about it. We've many times, and it's just never happened on my side. You're always available, but we've caused some struggles here at the Trail Manners Podcast. But we're through those.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks for taking the time. And I love your shirt. You got a Death March Running Company shirt on.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, there's some good dudes. Cody, one of the guys that founded that's a longtime friend of mine.
Nice.
And just love what Death March Running Company's doing. And I'll give a little teaser. They may or may not appear like their stuff on our Christmas gift guide, so people have to pay attention. But
nice.
Great group, doing some fun things in our sport. How you doing, man?
Good. Yeah, doing good.
So we briefly talked before you came on. You're kind of in your quote-unquote off-season.
Yeah.
Not like training,
right?
But you're still running for fun.
Yeah, having fun. Like trying to get back out and like enjoy it, right?
Because you've had a pretty busy year.
Yeah, it's been a busy 2 years, honestly.
Well, I'll let our listeners that don't know you, I'll kind of go through some of your ultra sign up stuff, and I know there's more out in the world, but man, it's so easy to find stuff there that I don't do the Google engine. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Michael, and the people that aren't familiar with you. Who are you?
Yeah, I'm a weird guy. No, I was actually born in Texas. Grew up in northern New Mexico. Was in the Air Force, which brought me to Utah.
Okay.
And been here like 21 years now, 22 years. I don't know. It's a long time.
So Utah stuck.
Yeah, Utah stuck, man. Met my wife here. We live, in her hometown, and we've been married 20 years now. So,
wow. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. She's awesome, and we have a 13-year-old. She's almost 14.
I know.
Time's flying, buddy.
I remember those years.
Yeah, so she's awesome. She's a good kid, and just like to run now.
Yeah,
I've had my stint with biking a little, and then
like mountain road.
No,
both?
road biking.
Road biking.
Yeah.
That seems hard.
It is hard. It's hard to Road biking's interesting. I like going out by myself when I want to.
Yeah.
Right? Which road biking's fine. You know, you're dealing with traffic though.
Sure.
For me it's a little nervy to go out at night.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
With a light. I mean, you're going pretty fast, right? I mean, I don't know.
You can.
People do it. I've tried it. So, you know, that's not bad, but yeah, I don't know. Mountain biking always scared me.
Yeah.
Because I like going fast.
Okay.
I like going real fast.
All right.
So, you know, I'm going to get hurt. It's going to happen.
Mountain
it's
biking,
inevitable.
yeah.
So I snowboarded for a long time. I'd still like to. I just don't get out as much. So
Sure. Because you're running all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of your jam.
Number one now.
Nice. How long you been running? Like what?
So-
how did you get into running?
Yeah. Well, you know, I started cycling. When I got out of the Air Force, I was a mechanic for a while. And then out of the shop, I got hired to the job I'm doing now, which is sales.
Okay.
I sell hydraulic snowplow equipment.
Oh wow.
So the
Okay.
controls only. So I'll just make stuff go up and down,
Nice.
and in and out. And then, so, you know, you go from a real job to a sales job.
Oh, I've been there.
Oof, and I ate a lot. I did a lot of sitting around, and pounds packed on. So I started cycling because it was easier than running, right, to start. So, and then I don't know. I couldn't find you can't just go out and do a weekend bike ride race, right?
Sure.
And I'm competitive, so I kind of wanted something like that. And then my wife did the Portland Marathon.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, well, I can run, I guess, right? It doesn't feel as bad now. So I started picking up running again because I always hated it. I hated it in high school. I wasn't a fan of it in the Air Force. I mean, I got in trouble enough to where I had no other choice to do anything else except go to the gym or run. So I got good at the short distances, but as far as running long distance, never ever crossed my mind. I mean,
Never even appealed to you.
Nope. I had no appeal to it. I could 3 miles was a long way.
Oh, man, I'm the same way. I hated running. I was a soccer guy.
Yeah.
So I could chase a ball.
Right.
Like a cat chasing a laser pointer. Right. But
Yeah.
you get me running, and I'm like, this is not even, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of funny how that works.
Yeah. And then, so I saw her finish the marathon and was like, ooh, a medal. I like medals.
A prize.
This is fun. Yeah. Ooh, a bib, a shirt, a medal. I can do this. So I started inching my way towards marathon and did the Big Cottonwood half, which was it was fun.
Yeah.
And it's fast, hurts, it's the road. So that was, God, I don't know, 16 or 17, maybe 18. And then 2019, my buddy from high school came and did Wasatch.
Oh, nice.
And he had me pace him the last third, so right into the finish.
Okay, so before your buddy got a hold of you, were you aware what a 100-mile trail run was yet?
Barely.
Barely? Okay.
I had heard it on Rogan's podcast.
Okay,
right?
okay.
I think he had Courtney on or Cam, one of those two. And I was
he listens to a lot of our podcasts from what I hear.
Oh, okay. What's up, Joe? Yeah, so I'd heard about it, but to me that was so far unfeasible. It was cool story.
Yeah.
No way I'm doing that.
How many days?
100 miles? Yeah. What are you, crazy?
We have some similar things. A friend of mine from college ran Wasatch 100, and that's kind of what drew me out. And then I paced him a section of that, and that's what got me into it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is cool.
So you paced him,
Yep.
and then you were hooked.
Yep. Saw him cross the line, saw him get the buckles, damn it.
That's better than a
literally
medal.
my life now. I have to get a buckle. And I'm terrified of 100 miles. So I'm well, I have to build up. So I spent, and then COVID hit.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So I got to do one race before COVID.
Okay.
I got to do Antelope 50K.
Okay.
Right after Wasatch, which was great.
That's
it was
a good
fun.
one.
And then me and him signed up for Zion 100K, but then it got canceled.
Sure. So what was your first 100 then? Do you remember?
Zion
was. So the next year.
So the next year, in 21.
Back. Okay.
Instead of doing the 100K, I did the 100 mile.
Okay.
Which seemed logical.
Why not? I mean, you did some 50 milers.
Yeah.
I see.
I did 100K by myself, which
100K.
It might be on there, but
Rise Up Ultras.
Yeah.
Virtual one. You did Twisted Fork, 64K. That's a tough route.
Yeah,
I did that race.
Love that one.
So Zion 100, your first 100 in 2021.
Yep.
You cross the line, they give you your buckle, and right then, to yourself, you thought, I'm chasing buckles now.
Yeah, I'd actually already signed up for the bear at that point, too.
Okay, nice. Because you've
been finished.
So that was 2021.
Yep.
You've done some others in here. You did the Zion again. You hit Twisted Fork. Then you mentioned in 2021, you hit the bear.
Yep.
Snow Peaks, Tusher, Wasatch.
Yeah.
You did a few others, and then again and then 2023 last year, which you've been on shows and talked about. You did the Wasatch Bear, but double is what we call it here, 2 weeks apart, and then Crazy Mountain.
Yeah.
In 2024.
Yeah.
And then you did the Bear, just finished the Bear again this year. So you're getting after them buckles.
Trying, man.
collect like the little shiny buckles.
Yeah.
Better than a medal.
It's way better than a medal, right?
You still get a bib, you still get a shirt, but now you get a buck. You earn them.
Yeah, you got to earn that thing, right?
So are you still, do you still like, you have done them, but do you still like 50Ks, 50 milers, stuff like that? Because you ran Jemez last year, but that one had some weather issues.
That was wild. That was a wild ride, buddy.
And you were just, 10 miles shy before they called it?
Yeah, they didn't let us do like a 13-mile loop.
Okay. Because it was so bad of weather.
It was so bad. It was terrifying.
Yeah.
That was one of the few times I've actually been scared.
Really?
Yeah, because, it takes a lot to bug me, and I'm not really that afraid of things. And lightning's whatever, but this lightning was very close and a lot.
Yeah?
a lot.
At that point, you thought, I think it's actually trying to get me?
Yeah, I think hell actually fell out of the sky on us. And meanwhile, me and my buddy, a different friend from high school, because that's where I grew up, and he's like, we're both begging the race director, please let us go, please let us go, please let us go. They're like, absolutely not. You can go to the finish.
Yeah.
And so we did. I'm not going to stop there.
Sure.
So we'll take what we get. But yeah. So I got credit for the 50K, but yeah, man.
You going to go back, you think, and do that?
Yeah, not this year.
Yeah.
It's on Mother's Day weekend, so it's a lot to ask.
Sure. Yeah, especially with the moms in your life.
Yeah.
If you're a mom runner, then it's golden, right? You can do whatever you want. Absolutely. It's like, I can go run whatever I want.
Yeah. So out of respect, I'll take a year off from that one. I really want it, though, because it's a cool race.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest 50 milers I feel like's out there.
Yeah.
Really, they want you moving fast is why it's hard.
Okay.
A lot of vert, at elevation.
Sure.
So...
that's in Los Alamos, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm headed down to Zane Gray in April, so kind of down in that portion of the continental United States of America.
Yeah.
So what is it about? Because we've done some shows the last few weeks, and the focus has been, and not focus, but a lot of that 100-mile distance. We got some stuff coming up that is not 100-mile distance, but kind of that focus there. What is it about the 100-mile distance? I know we talk about jokingly, but truthfully about the buckle.
Right.
But what's about that 100-mile distance that keeps you going into those?
It's tough because it's hard to think about why I continue to do them. Because I've done 7.
And again, you've done 7 in 3 years.
Yeah.
Right? 3 to 4 years maybe. Right? So pretty couple year.
Try to crank them out because I dive in full on when I do something. So
and I'm fit already. Might as well just do another one.
Yeah, just keep signing up for them. Why not? So I don't know. I really enjoy. I think it's just the overall challenge.
Okay.
The fact that so little people even think they're possible. When you tell someone, their eyes get real big and glaze over. Like, are you serious? You're like, do you sleep? Do you go home? Is this a bike race?
How many
you have
days?
to explain it to them, and they're still baffled. And I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, and it's just, I don't know, man. You find out a lot about yourself, right?
Yeah.
And I just want to keep doing them. There's so many now.
Yeah.
And every year it seems like there's 5 more new ones.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to just keep racking them up. I don't know. They're just fun.
Yeah.
And the build up, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, the training is probably more fun than the actual race until you cross the line. You're like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah. I can rest for a minute.
Yeah, finally rest.
Before I check Ultra Sign Up and see what's next.
See what's just showed up on sign. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to quantify the real reason why it's there, but it's they're so fun. The community's so fun too.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Just hanging out with these people are awesome. And doesn't mean I know everybody, but the second you meet somebody new, there's very little uncool people on that trail.
Yeah. And it's like you're almost friends for life, right?
Yeah,
because you always run across somebody, hey, remember I met you a couple years ago here? And you're like, oh, yeah, I was in a bad place at that time, or something. Yeah. Well, and you talk about how cool it is. So we just had the last podcast, when I didn't know this, we had Sylvia Greer on, and she's coached you.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had no idea. We didn't discuss, anything about her coaching and stuff, but that's pretty cool. How do you like working with a coach?
Coach is really nice for me, twofold. One, I would for sure overtrain.
Okay.
Because in my my weird dumb brain is more is better.
Okay.
Always more.
Yeah.
Always more. So
That's
it
why I'm
works
with
in
cheese
some
curds.
things, right?
Yeah, that's my cheese curd game. More is better.
Yeah, more is always better, right? Which to my detriment has gone the wrong way a few times in my life, but and even in this, right, I would for sure train too hard. I just would. I was for sure before I hired her. And
when you say too hard, like too many miles?
Too many miles.
Okay.
Too often. No rest days.
Okay.
Why would you take a rest day?
Yeah.
What's the point of a rest day? It could be running.
Yeah. Well, and I bet it's because I know other people like this that can't have a hard time with rest days. They feel like, I'm lazy. I should have gone out. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose fitness. All these things, but it is like, especially, and I'm 53, so we're not talking about your age. But as you get older, your body enjoys a little break once in a while, right?
Yeah.
So I see that. So yeah, rest days are big.
They are big, and that's been learning, right? I mean, you can't go all out all the time. Yeah. You just can't. It's fun to think about.
Is that hard for you since you're all in all the time? Is it hard when your coach has either like a smaller block for a week or less days? Is that difficult for you?
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
And she knows that, I'm sure.
She absolutely knows it. And she'll put she's funny because, I mean, after 4 years, we really know each other, right? So she'll put on there like, I know you're going to hate this week. And then I look at him like, yeah, I do hate this week. Yeah. It's like 20 miles. What are we doing? Like, why is there 60? Like, come on. And I mean, I'm not a high mileage person anyway.
Sure.
Right. I mean, I see the miles that some people put and I'm like, okay, I can't. Not that I can't, but how do you have time for that?
Sure.
So, I don't like rest days. I just don't like them.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I need them. Sometimes they're convenient. I can get other things done, right?
Yeah.
But, wake up earlier if you need to get things done.
Wash your run clothes on the days off.
Yeah, exactly. Whew, you need to wash those. And then, those down weeks, like taper weeks, especially before a race, man, I feel like I should still be going. But the more we work together, the more I learn reluctantly.
Sure.
That it's necessary.
And you can feel the difference as
Absolutely.
well, right? Like when you did your first hundreds, when you kind of maybe didn't have that training or overtrained, right. Now you're like, you feel better, fresher, stronger, all those things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's like a big week then? Like when you're training for 100, you talk about, small week of 20 miles. Like what do your bigger weeks in mileage look like?
I think the most we usually do is 60 or 70.
Okay. And that's kind of,
I mean, it's, some people are like, whoa. Some people are like, really? That's it?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a good medium for peak days, right? I mean, 70 miles is long, I mean, I have a job.
Yep.
I have a life, right? 70 miles is a lot of miles.
Yeah.
Mostly because I don't like just, flat miles, just getting in miles. It doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
I want to go up.
Yeah.
I want vert. So might be 70 miles, but it's going to be 20,000 feet of vert too.
Well, because you look at a lot of the races you've done, the 100-milers, and they're big hundreds,
right.
And we're talking vert-wise. They're not flat, fast,
right.
Hundreds, which some people love.
Yeah.
We had Sylvia Greer on, and she just done the 50K, and she goes, there's a lot of running in it. I ran more in that 50K than I did in my 100.
Right.
Right? Because it's the difference of that. Plus, you've done the roofer races, the running up for air, where it's just nothing but vert.
Right.
Right? 24 hours, 10 laps,
Yeah.
Tons of vert. And your training, sometimes I see, pretty much ends up being up. Right? Like you don't really focus on the flatter stuff. Do you do speed work though with your coach at all?
We've done it before.
Yeah.
I feel like leading into Zion, we did a lot of like track work and stuff because it's more of a running one, right?
Yeah.
It was my slowest, one of my slowest. I mean,
you had to run,
one, right? It was mostly running in air quotes, right? So I enjoy running fast. I really do. Like it's fun. It's just not what I would do if I have the choice.
Sure.
So
does she help you with nutrition?
No.
Yeah.
I think she would if I asked her to.
Okay.
But I like eating garbage.
Okay. Well, hey, if you like it, it works. We had Adam Wolf on here. He just eats candy for 100-milers. I don't know how that works.
Yeah. I mean, I know I could get better, right? I know that there's things I could do, mostly quantity-wise, that would help. But it's, I don't know. I love to do this.
Yeah.
I know, and I always want to get better.
Sure.
I am super competitive with myself mostly. So I want to get better, but I don't want it to feel like it's work at all.
Sure. Yeah.
Like I still want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And if I'm like watching my calories and counting these things, and it doesn't seem like it'd be as fun. So
Well, I'm not good at math. And you get me in a race, my math gets worse.
Oh, dude.
So when I see some people, and again, everybody does their own thing here, but people listen to my show know we taper up. We got to get our miles in the week before because we're behind. But like I see people like, oh, I did X amount of this, my electrolytes and my calories, and I mean to the point somethings, and I'm like, wow. And someone will ask me how much is in your gel. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anywhere between 70 and 150. Like,
Right.
I'm not sure,
Yeah.
you know?
Well,
And I know, and like you said,
Yeah.
I'm sure if I focused more on that, because I did this year, I did El Vaquero, and I actually did better on my nutrition side. I talked to somebody and probably felt better in that race than I have in a long time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't to the, exact amount, right? It was just like, oh, maybe tweak this and tweak that a little bit. But I agree with you. I think you nailed it for me is if it gets to a point where it's not as fun, I don't know why I'm doing it, right? And I can always do better, that type of thing, but it is kind of a competition against yourself.
Right.
There's very few people in this sport that are trying to win a race anymore, right? It's just you could name one. You could look at a start list and say, okay, those 5.
Right.
Everybody else, no one else is going to win after that.
Right.
Right.
Yep. That's Jose running. Well, goodbye.
Yeah. Right. So you're doing it because you love it. Right. And you're getting better as you do it because you're learning more. And so that also adds to some of that fun.
Right.
And you're definitely pounding them out.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's because it's fun, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's something to look forward to. It's a reason to train. I mean, I would probably run anyway, regardless. I mean, but it's fun to have that added stress, right? If you want to call it stress,
Okay.
or just that motivation. I don't know, because it is fun. It's just fun. I just enjoy it so much that I don't want to burn out on it, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, doing 200 milers a year seems feasible for a while.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'm going to keep doing the bear for the foreseeable future. I mean, it's a good way to end the season, I feel like.
Yeah, it is good.
The last one, and maybe, I signed up for the Hard Rock Lottery again.
That'd be
I don't know why I keep signing up.
because one day it's going to happen.
One day it's going to
So I'm going to tell you this right now, and there's some proof out there, and there's listeners I've had on this podcast that have said those words, and that next draw they get in.
Yeah.
I've had people get in with one ticket.
Ooh.
We call it the Trail Manners. It's a reverse curse.
All right. Well,
Yeah. So if you get in, I want a shout out.
All right,
Yep.
you got it.
Yeah. Because
got it.
you just basically said you're not getting in. I'm like,
Yeah.
I got a funny feeling.
Yeah. I'd love to do that one. That one terrifies me.
Sure.
But I feel like, again, after doing the double, it's like, well, if it doesn't terrify you, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
Like it's gotta, I don't know. We live in such a soft world, man. I've been having this conversation a lot lately of like, everything's so comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's just looking to be comfortable.
Yeah.
I kind of like being uncomfortable. Like it makes you appreciate sitting on the couch.
Yeah. Well, and so I said this, I have to go back to my last podcast because we were talking with Sylvia about her big stuff. And I'm like, I think there's people, there's the thing of, I love getting out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
But I think everybody has a different one. And I told Sylvia, I said, I think your comfort zone is being uncomfortable.
Right.
I think when you're uncomfortable, you're in your element.
Right.
Right. And I don't think someone like maybe yourself or Sylvia looks at that level of being uncomfortable. It's like, okay, I know where I'm at. This is where I want to be. I want to, have some hurt in my legs because I have legs. I have some feeling here because I can. And it makes those rest days, those days on the couch a little sweeter.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think there's a lot of people, and I think a lot everywhere, but when you're focused on this 100-mile distance, I mean, you have to be okay with not being in a comfort zone.
Oh, yeah.
But I think people like yourself that have done it 7 times or maybe even not that many, and obviously there's some that are playing more, they get to a place and like, okay, now I'm where I want to be. I know where I'm at. We're good to go.
Yeah.
If this is the worst as it gets, I'm pumped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I tried really hard this time for the bear to mostly enjoy it.
Okay.
Not be afraid that I'm not going to finish.
Sure.
Because that's always like number one fear is the DNF.
DNF,
I've yet to,
yeah.
and I'm just terrified. I know it's coming, man, because it's inevitable, right? I mean, we can't do this forever without. I've been 45 seconds before an overall cutoff, so I was really close to a DNF, like really close. And but then that one was a huge learning experience, right?
Sure.
Like, okay, maybe I got more in the tank than I think, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you can push harder at the
Yeah.
end. So I tried at the bear this time to be like, let's just enjoy it. Let's try it. Like, I know I can do 100 miles. I don't like saying that. It feels weird to say it, but I know I can do it.
Yeah.
Clearly, I've done it before.
done
I
it,
could do
yeah.
it again. So maybe remove that fear. Something's going to stop you from doing it, right? An injury, you can't eat anything, you know, something has to happen before I'm going to quit.
Yeah.
So let's enjoy it, right? Let's be mindful of the things that you're learning, right? Like drink more water,
Pay attention.
eat more food, right? Like pay attention to these things that have failed you in the past, right? And let's do them better. So that was my goal this time. And I think going forward, that's going to kind of be more my attitude. I mean, Hard Rock would be different, right? Because there's some terrifying factors to that, obviously. But I'd like to be less scared and more just aware and have fun with them.
Because you did Crazy Mountain and the Bear this year.
Yep.
Your times were 30 minutes off.
Yeah.
So like you finished Crazy Mountain 30 minutes faster.
Yeah.
33 minutes if we want to get there. But
Yeah.
Between the two, I can put you on the spot. You've done both this year. Which one's harder?
Man, I thought Crazy Mountain would be harder.
Yeah.
I really did.
Okay.
Seeing people's times, hearing about it, I thought it'd be harder. But where we are able to train is really hard.
Yeah.
Like Wasatch Mountains are no joke.
Yeah.
The mountains right in front of my house are very hard to climb.
And you get right up right away.
I mean, this morning, 4,000 feet and 3.25 miles.
There you go.
Like it's no joke. So I expected them to be that hard and they weren't.
Okay.
So I feel like Bear is harder in its own right.
Okay.
Right? I mean, that's the third year and this is the closest to the 32 in the 32s I've ever made, like a minute and a half below 33.
32:58.
Yeah,
baby.
buddy. And I was sprinting for that thing. Dude. I was like
Hamstring,
on the verge of throwing up. Yeah, I made it. So, yeah, that I feel like I definitely legitimately thought Crazy Mountain would be harder.
Okay.
It was not easy by any means. I'm
Sure.
saying it's, less hard,
Yeah.
right? I mean, so the Bear's definitely hard.
Okay.
It just is, right? I mean, it was really hot this year too. I mean, it was really hot this year.
Yeah, it
It
was.
was like abnormally hot. Which
A lot
I'm
of
not
people,
a fan of heat at
a lot
all.
of people fell out.
Yeah.
I paced the section of that, and the person I paced, heat got to him the first day. And then I picked him up mile 75, and he thought he was running a 10K after that. I couldn't even keep up with him. He was like
Nice.
doing sub nines. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah. So yeah, it's I think out of the 3 that I've done, well, 4 I guess if you count Zion, Wasatch is for sure the hardest though.
Yeah.
Hands down. I mean, it's just relentless. There's so many rough sections, and they're all hard. So, I think Bear's harder than Crazy Mountain. I enjoyed Crazy Mountain a lot though. It was really fun.
So Crazy Mountain hit the scene and exploded.
Yeah.
Like when I remember the first year, I looked at it, because obviously it's Montana, love the name, plus the reason for putting it on, the location. Then they showed a picture of the buckle. I'm like, oh yeah. And then that first year pulled off, and then it was like an explosion. I think. I mean, people flocked to that. I mean, I'm talking like not just numbers, but even some like veterans of 100-milers.
Yep.
That were like, hey, wait a minute, what is going on over here?
Yeah.
And they have created quite the culture there.
Yes.
Yeah. And
She does a really great job.
yeah, that's what I hear. Sylvia was on. She was talking. She just done 3 for 3.
Yeah.
Went to the hospital because of it. I mean, you were there.
Yeah.
But I've talked to a lot of people about that race, and I have not heard one negative thing.
Right.
First off, and all I hear is like just faces light up and people rave about it.
Yeah.
Like it's not like, oh, that's a cool race. Yeah, it was fun. It was pretty. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. It's breathtaking.
Yeah.
It's like, it's one of the coolest places I've ever run. I mean, you get to the top of a climb and you're just like paralyzed. It's so beautiful.
Wow.
I mean, and just so dramatic in every direction. So that alone was awesome. I mean, and yeah, she does a great job.
Nice.
She takes care of the runners. She takes care of the volunteers. Actually, one of the lead volunteers was running the Bear this year, and I ended up chatting with her, which is so
awesome.
random. But yeah, and she's just like, she takes care of volunteers. She does great.
That's
she does a good
amazing.
job.
That's really cool. I keep telling people I'll pay somebody at the Crazy Mountain just because I want to get up there. I'm not signing up for it this year.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but I want to get up into that world and check it out firsthand.
It's
it looks cool.
I think the hardest part about it is, especially for crew and pacing. It's so remote.
Sure.
Like there's no cell service. I mean, it's just, and everything's a dirt road.
Yep.
So my crew was less excited
They're
about
like,
it
this
than I
wasn't
was.
nearly as fun. Yeah.
But I did no pacers and one crew stop.
That's
so that was
awesome.
like the least
really
amount of
cool.
help I've ever done. And that was a cool, I tried to embrace the Crazy Mountain, right?
Sure.
Like embrace the heritage of it.
Yeah.
And like I'm
And
going
I've
out
read
there
on
alone.
that, which is super cool.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
So I just tried to embrace it without being a hack, but I'm like, I'm here. I'm alone. Let's do it.
So was that your first no pacer 100?
Yep.
Okay. We talk about that a lot on the podcast, is pacer, no pacer. All the 100s I've done have been pacers.
Yep.
I would like to do a no pacer, but not probably this year because
Yeah.
I'm really getting back into it. I'm going to hopefully sign up for I'm Tough. My wife ran that, and that, talk about a crew friendly race.
Yeah?
Oh my
Nice.
God, I was in heaven.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'll go. At our Airbnb, it would take me like 15 minutes to get to the place and back.
No
And then
way.
15 minutes and back. I think the longest drive was like 40 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the coolest thing. I go back to town, I'll eat, everything. So that one's really cool. But yeah, those that are hard for crew and pacers, those are draining. They're almost harder than for the runner.
Oh, absolutely.
Really,
yeah,
the
I mean,
stress
they had,
level.
they had one stop to meet me, and they had to, I didn't know the course. I didn't know how long. You can look at a map, right? Say, okay, it's mostly downhill, but that downhill is pretty gnarly. So it took me a lot longer to get there. So they had to wait, right? And, I always feel bad. I'm like, oh, they've been waiting there for so long. But, it was one stop. It was in the morning. And it was, man, I needed it.
That's awesome.
But I think now I know I don't need a pacer,
yeah,
right?
You've done it.
I know I can do it. I know I can get through. I got tired, but you turn around, you wait, and there's a headlamp coming.
Yeah.
So at one point I did have to wait for a couple guys and just ran with them for a little while to wake up. But then, I was off and on my own again.
Yeah.
But you're never really alone.
Nope.
Right? You're just not. The community's not going to, you don't feel alone. You might go through a stretch where you're alone, but you're going to catch somebody. Somebody's going to catch you. So it's, now I know I don't need one, but I really enjoy them.
Yeah, it's fun to share the
fun.
experience because we
Absolutely.
talk about it. It's such a selfish thing we do.
Yeah.
Right? It's all this time by yourself. And so
Yeah.
when you include people in your journey, and as a pacer and crew, I enjoy that part of it too because you're sharing with their journey.
Yep.
Right? Like you're a small piece of it for sure, but it's always fun because I've paced this last bear, and he's like, "Man, I can't appreciate you coming. It's a Saturday. I feel so bad." I'm like, "What else am I gonna be doing? I'm in the mountains on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
I'd hopefully be doing that anyway,
Right?
Here
Yeah,
at least
exactly.
I got an aid station to snack some sausages.
Right? Yeah, free food. Come on.
What's the weather like at Crazy Mountain? Is it hot?
It can be for sure.
It's July.
Yep, it's July. And it's about the same elevation as here. I
Okay.
mean, I think it's a little higher than here. So I think 6,000, 7,000, something like that. I think you only get to 10 and a half, 10, somewhere like that. So it was warm, but it was actually, we
too
nailed
bad.
the weather. It was perfect.
that's
I think
always
it got to maybe 80 in the valley, right, in the low spots. So it was, it was great for us. We'd been cooking up here, so
Sure.
it was hot. And then there it wasn't as bad. A lot of smoke came in. It's just the time of year. So, but I've heard it's been hotter. So it's kind of a crapshoot, right? It's July in Montana.
I know.
It'd be really nice.
July races. I told my wife I wasn't going to race in July this year. I just don't like heat at all.
Yeah, I don't either.
And
it's
it's
not
like,
fun.
and it's like, well, maybe go somewhere cool. I'm like, but I still got to train in the heat.
Exactly.
Right. That's
Yeah.
the other thing. Like,
Right.
training in the heat's almost worse.
yeah.
Than
They
than
had some
race.
crazy storms too, which we got super lucky. No rain, nothing like that. But a storm will roll through, right?
Yeah.
And you're up above Alpine.
High elevation.
So you get stranded up there.
So I've got some concerns for you. So your coach is Sylvia.
Yeah.
We all know what she does for fun.
Uh-huh.
You love the long stuff.
Yeah.
You got anything in the 200 range in your future, you think?
Yes.
That was hard to get out of
I
you.
know, right? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Not anytime soon.
That appeals to you, though?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, because more is better, right?
We talked about this.
100, why not 200? Like, it sounds like the next logical step
It's like-
anyway.
yeah, it's like, let's see, I'll do a 10K.
Yeah,
5K
right?
to 10K. And then
Yeah.
you're like 100 to 2.
Yeah, it's just the next step. So for sure,
Yeah.
I want to do it. And there's so many more new ones now. You can actually have a choice,
Yep.
right? Before you were kind of limited. Now you're definitely not limited. There's
Yep.
so many. So, the whole undertaking of it is a little overwhelming.
Sure.
With crew, multiple pacers, multiple days. I mean, it's a lot.
I think to me, obviously, the 200-mile distance is the big one first. But I
Yep.
do think, especially if you're doing a 200-miler that's not close to home,
Yeah.
right? Because then you're really asking a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
from people, because
Yep.
it's not just like, hey, can you come with me for a day and a half? It's
Right.
like, hey, I need you for 4 days,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
I'm going to pick you up at mile 120,
Right.
and I have no clue when that's going to be.
Exactly.
It could be between,
Yeah.
9 p.m. Friday and Sunday morning.
Right? Yeah. Anything could happen.
Yep.
Just be around.
Yep.
Can you?
And I hope
Be
you
on
like
call.
naps.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I think that I look at the people that do 200s, and first of all, I think it's amazing. I don't care how far 50Ks. I mean, you're
Right.
200 is just amazing, but just the teams that go,
Yes.
that is such a big ask.
Oh, yeah.
And I think if you're a runner and you have a crew and pacers do a 200 with you,
Yeah.
you've got to be a good person.
Oh, yeah.
To have people that would do that for
Absolutely.
you. I think that to me, if you run 200 miles a race and you've got friends there,
Right.
you're a good person.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, because you are asking a lot. I mean, and financially, it's a
Yeah.
huge undertaking too,
Sure.
right? I mean, they're
Yeah.
not free.
No.
You got to think about gas and food and lodging, and it's not. Yeah, it's not free.
Well, I was talking to Sylvia, and she said during the Bigfoot, her husband put like 600 miles on his car.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, whoa. I mean, there's some hundreds that are not easy to
Right.
crew, but
Right.
like that's
a lot.
dang.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. I mean, 200 miles is a long way in its
Yeah.
own right,
Yeah.
but these aren't accessible 200s for the most part.
Yeah, because there's a 200 miler. I would like to do a 200
Yeah.
for sure. I've talked about. I'm not a year, maybe even 2 years out. And you said there's more popping up. I've got my eye on one for sure. And I think for me, the discussion I have is the races I even do now have to appeal to me, not just the distance. It's got to be a course
Yeah.
that appeals to me.
Right.
Right. I'm not a desert runner.
Yeah.
So that's why, I mean, I've done Bryce's, I've done Zion's, I've done some of those, but I'm not a desert guy. I've done Red Mountain, I've done those, but I'm like, it's just not as fun for me.
Right.
I love lush green,
Yeah.
rivers, lakes.
Yeah.
So the Pacific Northwest appeals to me
Yes.
on the umpteenth degree. But yeah, there's some that I would have to make sure when I'm at my lowest of lows, I can look up and say, oh, this is gorgeous.
Right.
Because I'm in a desert, it's not pretty to me. And some people, my wife loves deserts.
Yeah.
Like I've run more on sand because of her than in my whole life.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing, even at any distance. So is there a 200 that's kind of appealing to you right now?
I mean, I think the Oregon one seemed nice, right? I didn't really look too much into the course because they're just, it looks nice.
You said it, but that's what I'm liking.
I mean, because I'm same, right? I mean, I grew up in New Mexico, but northern New Mexico,
Okay.
right? So it's a desert, but it's high mountain desert,
Yep.
right? Higher than here, way higher than here. So
Yeah.
it's dramatically different still, right? I mean, you go to the rainforest, it's wet, it's beautiful, it's green.
Yeah.
And it's not hot as death.
Yeah.
And it's so I would like to do a 200 where it has to be good, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the only appeal to like Cocodona, right,
Yeah.
the desert one, would be Aravaipa because they're an awesome race.
Put on a good show.
Yeah, they put on a great event. Every time I've gone to anything of theirs or heard anything, it's awesome.
Yep.
So that one looks fun
Yeah.
in that aspect. But then you see day one and you see everybody just dying of heat. And I'm
Yep.
like, that also doesn't look very fun.
They got me on that one.
And you got 4 more days.
Yeah.
So
Well, and then the new 300 coming out in Arizona. I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? Like, put them on in like somewhere with shade.
somewhere, yeah. I did hear about, I think Sylvia actually sent it to me. It's like I think it's a Canadian 200
Okay.
on the Divide.
Okay.
So that one looked really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like, okay, now we're talking.
Yeah, there's some cool races up in the Great White North, so to
Yeah.
say. We have a couple listeners that chime in, great followers, listeners of the show, and
Yeah.
they're from Canada, and they've always got pictures and places they go. I'm like, gosh, dang it, I got to
Beautiful up there.
Yeah.
Dramatically different. I mean,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Huge dramatic peaks, beautiful landscapes. Yeah. I mean, it's a great place. So
Yeah.
that one appealed to me when she sent it. I was like, okay.
Well,
She
I
sends me
just
some
knew
crazy
when you
stuff.
said Sylvia's your coach and more is better in my head. I'm like, okay, he's going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Eventually. It's inevitable, right?
It's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have a question that people ask me about you, and I'm going to ask you to get your perspective. Where do you get your energy from? Like like I've seen you at the Bear,
Yeah.
mile 75. I've seen you at Rufa.
Yeah.
I've seen you training for Rufa, but you have the biggest smile
Yeah.
of any trail runner I've encountered, and I've been around a really long time, but you smile big, your energy's big, you could be at a low spot, and I think it transfers to people, right? Where does that come from?
Man, I don't know. It's a good question. I just enjoy making people smile.
Yeah.
I enjoy helping people.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if I can help you, oh man, it makes me feel so good. And I mean, why be so mad? What are you mad about?
What are you mad about?
Like, so what? It hurts. Who cares? Just smile about it. It feels better. Yeah, I don't know. I always try. I've gotten that question so much. Not this formally, but like,
hey man, that's what we do here.
yeah, right.
We're not even to the lightning round yet.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I do. I enjoy life in the cheesiest way possible, right? I really do. And I've been trying even harder lately to smile even more, like take it to another degree.
How does that happen? Can you do that, man?
I don't know. Like I catch myself, like I travel for work sometimes. So I'm like in the airport, I'm like, just smile because people are staring at me. I mean, I'm tattooed. I've got a big beard. Like I'm a tall guy. Like I'm hard
You're
to miss.
a presence.
Yeah, like I'm hard to miss. I've realized that now. I used to think I was kind of invisible, and I'm like, wait, I guess I'm not. So it's like, just smile. Like, because I've watched it change people's faces.
Sure.
When they look at me and finally they look in my eyes and I'm smiling at them, they're like, oh. They're like shocked. And I'm like, hi.
Oh, he's not so mean looking now. Yeah.
And I love saying like, oh man. So I have a new friend, Matt, that I met back in December. And I brought him into the world a little bit around us. And he did Rufa. He did a couple hours. And then, I told my wife that we went to Malin's one day and she's like, how many people did you talk to? I'm like, I don't know, everybody? She's like, that poor guy. Like, did you at least warn him that you were going to stop and talk to everybody? I'm like, no, I don't know.
He probably liked it. He's like, oh, rest break.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just enjoy it. I like seeing people's faces happier.
Yeah.
Like, it's, I mean, I'm sure there's a whole long line of things that led into the way I am now, but like, I used to be shy. I've always been kind of out there from teenage years, but I've reined that into more of a positive level, right? I mean, therapy helps.
Well, and I think you kind of said it early on too in this podcast is you love running.
Yeah.
And when you say it, and this is why I love doing podcasts in person.
Yeah.
I mean, we do them virtually, and we'll be having some of those coming up soon. One, I don't like technology, so it freaks me out. I love being in person. Yeah. But I like to have that connection because when you said I love running, like your face, you could tell you loved running. It wasn't like I'm saying it because I need to believe I love it. So I'm saying it out loud, right? Like you literally love it.
Yeah.
And every time, like I said, I saw you at mile 75 of the Bear last year. Early morning hours, sun was coming up, and hey man, get a hug, all that stuff. And it's like, wow, here's somebody that is genuinely happy. Like you can tell you're not faking it. Like I've gone into aid stations. I'm like, okay, everybody's nice. Thanks so much for being, and I mean it, but I'm like trying to put a smile on it. Inside, I'm like, sooner I get out of this aid station, I can save my energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, sometimes it's to my detriment too. Like talking so much, I'm like, I'm wasting a lot of energy out here. Like my throat's burning, but I can't shut up.
Well, I finished in 32:58, but it's not my aid station breaks, it's my chat breaks. I could have cut 3 hours off.
Easily cut that off, right? Helping somebody up, but no,
but then it wouldn't be as fun though.
Exactly.
Right?
Like this is what I enjoy, right? I enjoy being out there. I mean, I'm alone probably 75 to 80% of the time.
Sure.
So being out in the mountains, it's like, how could you be sad? It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. And when you wake up, like today, we were up at the top before the sun was up.
Yeah.
You look down, everybody's asleep in their warm beds, and a million people at your feet, and nobody's up there. You didn't see anybody.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's like, how can you not be sad? How can you be sad?
Well,
what to be sad about?
I think the short amount of time, really overall, like 3-4 years with you in the sport, I think you brought a lot to the sport because you've gone around to different races. You're well known. You mention your name, especially here. People like, oh yes, Michael, and you're smiling and you're out. It's fun because I try to be similar, right? Like I love being outside on the trails. I've mentioned this before. Years ago, my two daughters, years and years ago, I challenged them. We went hiking one day, and the amount of people that said hi to us just walking on the trail. And then we went to the supermarket, I told them to pay attention, and they were like, "Dad, People don't say hi. And I'm like, no, people are just so busy being busy. But when you're in the mountains, it's like, it's funny when someone doesn't say hi back.
Right.
You're almost like, dude, what are you lost?
Right.
You know?
I'll mutter or not.
Yeah. I mean, and I get it. I mean, some people like to be up there and quiet, but I think for the most part, it's fun.
Yep.
You've got, you're out there for a reason, and it's like-minded people, whether they're hiking, walking, biking, horsing, whatever, right? It's like you're like-minded. So anyway, that gets asked, like your big energy, which I think people appreciate. Okay. And like you mentioned, you never know who's having what kind of day.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So a little smile, a little big old grin, a little something else, people could be like, okay, today's not so bad.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's awesome. So I'm glad you explained that to everybody out there. So everybody listening, be a good person on the trails, man. Yeah. Just be happy. Even when you're not, fake it.
Yeah, right. Fake it till you make it.
That's right. I've done that way too long. So what do you got coming up? Got any plans? I know, it didn't sound like you said you're going to start training again in December, which is right around the corner.
Right.
Do you have an idea? You mentioned the bear.
Yep.
What do you think? Do you have any plans you're thinking about for next year?
Sign up for roof already.
Already? The Malin's roof.
Yeah, Malin's
24 hour.
Yep.
Because I don't think you could go shorter.
Nah, if there's a longer distance, why do a longer distance? What are you doing? Yeah, so 24 again. I got 10 laps last year. I'd like to get 11.
There you go.
Just keep progressing, right?
Yeah.
I know I left a lap out there, so easily to get.
Quit talking to people.
I know, man.
I'll show up and I'll sit at this turnaround. Every time you come in, I'll be your usher. I'll be like, leave him alone, please, folks. I'll have signs up. I'll be your protection.
Yeah. Tara's gonna dump salt down my throat because I was cramping last year.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so do Rufa again. Sign up for Twisted Fork. Actually, it's back.
Nice. Yep, it is back. I saw that.
Sign up for that one.
That's awesome.
As soon as it opened, because I really missed that one, man.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yep.
So new race director.
Yep.
But Canis did a great job. He was awesome.
He was awesome.
Man, I was so sad when that race went away. And then they flirted with a longer distance this year, which I was ready to sign up for, but they had to pull the plug on that and go back to the measly 68, 64K, whatever it is.
More is better.
Yeah, more's better. If there's a longer option, sign up for it. So, and then, we'll have to see how the lottery goes for Hard Rock.
Are you going to wait for that one before you do anything else?
Yeah, I mean, and that one, luckily, their lottery's early.
Yeah.
Right? December.
Yeah.
Second weekend of December or whatever. So that'll be nice because some of the lotteries are like January. I mean,
that's the one I'm putting in for, and so it might mess up my plan B. Right. That's why I'm really bummed. I keep looking at it, the race I want to do, and the lottery, I think is in January, but the other race I would do if I didn't get into the lottery opens in December. And you just don't know if stuff fills so fast. Yeah, it's such a weird deal.
Yes.
Like some stuff fills quicker.
Yep.
I remember Gorge Waterfall was a lottery and it'd fill so fast, and now it doesn't.
Right.
But other one, that's just a crapshoot. I hate it.
Yeah.
It gives me anxiety.
It does.
I have a spreadsheet of races. Everybody makes fun of me, but I'm like, I gotta figure this out.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, yeah. I mean, it is, the timing of them is a bummer.
Yep.
Kind of like we all got to sync here, right?
Yep.
Because when I was trying to do the double last year, I had to wait to see if I was getting into Wasatch.
Yep.
And I put my name on the Crazy Mountain list, and she pulled it before the lottery, and I was like, can you just give me a week? She's like, no. I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I put myself back on the wait list because that's the only option I had.
Yeah.
Because I knew I wanted to do Crazy eventually, but I was really wanted to do the double last year. So,
but you didn't get into Wasatch.
I did.
Oh, you did get into Wasatch.
Yeah, I got into Wasatch last year.
Oh.
No, this year again. I don't know when I'll do Wasatch again, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just, I love it. I love pacing it. I love crewing it. That environment is awesome. But man, it's hard.
Yeah. I'm done. I've done it 3 times.
Yeah.
I'm good. I've had my taste.
Yeah.
I'm playing around with other places now.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. That's the thing, right? I mean, it's, for some people, it's a one and done, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
my wife.
It's miserable. Yeah. Yeah.
She killed it, but she's like, yeah, that's a one and done.
It's
because there are so many races.
Right. There
That's
are so
the
many.
problem.
That is the problem, right?
I mean, when I first started, there was 200s in the state of Utah.
Right.
Wasatch and the Bear. There was nothing else here, and not as many. And now it's like, oh my gosh, there's 100-miler every dang weekend.
Yeah.
I
mean, you could find them all day.
Yeah.
So I'd like to do Tushers again. That one was really fun.
Yeah.
It was really hard.
Yeah.
but I had like my best day, so I don't want to go back.
Yep.
Because it was like jinx it, right? I mean, because it was really hard. That was a hard race.
Did you? Which one of the Tushers?
The 100K.
Okay, so the big one.
Yeah, of course, longest,
Everybody's
yeah.
like, yeah. Why did I? Why did I? I'm a horrible podcast host. I didn't even know I asked that. Yeah, but yeah, that and everybody talks to. It's like it runs more like 100 miles.
It does feel like it hits like 100.
Yeah,
and I had like one of the best days of my life.
That's awesome.
So it was like, everything went right. Felt really good. So I trained really hard because I was terrified of it. Trained by fear.
Yeah.
Sylvia's like, do you know how much vert you do? I'm like, not enough. Not enough.
Not enough.
People do more.
Let's keep going. Let's keep going up.
Yeah. More up.
So maybe Tushers.
Yeah.
I think so. Basically, everything's going to boil down to lottery for you next year.
I think so.
Hard Rock.
Yeah.
Once Hard Rock chips
once
fall.
Hard Rock goes through,
Okay.
we'll kind of see it because I definitely do want to do 200s a year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's just so many options, right? I have to like time it and see what's in June or July. I mean, Scout looks awesome too.
Yeah, that's
I'd
a
love
great
to do
race.
Scout.
Luke's, they put on an amazing event. My
Right.
wife's looking at that one right now too.
Yeah.
They haven't released their date yet for 2025, but it's
Oh,
usually early June.
Yeah.
Registration opens in December.
Nice.
Yeah, I haven't done the 100, but I've done the 50, 50K.
Nice.
They used to have a relay back when it was a Pocatello 50. That's how old I
okay.
am. Yeah, I ran it the very first year they put it together.
Nice.
And that's when Jared Campbell was one of the race directors.
Oh, okay.
That founded it. So that's a good one.
Yeah.
Are you interested in doing any 50 milers, 50Ks next year?
Yeah, for sure. There'll be, I
One
think,
sprinkled in there.
Yeah, because, I mean, Twisted Fork's in there.
Yeah. That's 64K?
Yeah, it's like 42 miles.
Yeah.
Some random. I mean, it's is what it is.
Yeah.
It's fun, though.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a great race.
I love when you don't force the mileage to make a race.
Absolutely.
And I don't know why there's not more random
Right.
Ks.
Yeah.
Because it's like if the course is there, put a 72K. Who cares?
Yeah, nobody cares. It's fun, People look at you like, how far is that?
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'll tell you when I'm done.
Yeah. Tell you what the Garmin says.
Yeah,
at
I'll
the
tell
end.
you when I'm
And
done.
It might not even be right. So, and then the Salt Lake Foothills 50K is a fun
Okay.
one.
Yep.
I'm part of that Borderlands trail team. So
Nice.
the OG team.
The OG team, the original group.
Yeah, it's a good group. That's a fun race. And they're like, it's like 2 weeks of, it's a 50K.
Yeah.
So it's like 2 weeks before Twisted Fork. So might do that one.
Okay.
See. Throw some other ones in there. Once a month is always sounds fun, right? But we'll see how far I go.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me to see you do something fun like that.
Yeah.
But I like the mores better. I'm excited to see when you do a 200, but I'm super excited you're going to get into Hard Rock this year.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Man, we're gonna mark this date. I'm
All right.
we have so many people want to be on the podcast because of
Right.
Hard Rock.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm calling
I'm
you.
signed up for Hard Rock. Can I come on the show? Nope.
That's not how it works.
Not how it works here, man. It's not how we do things. So,
Uh-huh.
all right. So, if you had to pick right now, I know what you've done. What are 3 races you have not done that you want to do? Top 3, you think?
Yeah, top 3. I mean, Hard Rock for sure.
Yep.
That's like, it's just seems like the once in a lifetime gig, right?
Sure.
Yeah, that's tough because I haven't finished New Mexico, the Jemez Mountain one. God, I want to finish it. I want the full. It's actually 53. They say 50, but they trick you a little. So
Those are fun.
Yeah, yeah, that one's a good one. I think anything in Canada. Honestly, I'd like to find a good 100-miler in Canada.
Okay.
I think that's like top of the list, right? I mean,
Okay.
a destination one that's not East Coast. Sorry,
Okay.
East Coast.
And why is that?
I don't know. It's just I like the East Coast. I've visited a few times. It just doesn't appeal to me the way the West does.
Sure.
I mean, I've grown up in the Southwest my whole life, and
Sure.
it's just man, I love this place.
Yeah.
It's awesome, right? I mean, there's probably a handful of California ones I'd like to get into. There's that new one. I know it's a UTMB race, but it's like the Kodiak. Is that what it's called?
Yep.
That one seems fun.
Yeah.
That's a cool area, right?
Seth Waddups ran that last year.
Oh, nice.
He was on the podcast.
Yeah.
He liked that event.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I haven't heard bad about it.
Yeah.
I mean, so that one, the area appeals to me for sure.
Yeah.
It looks
I like
beautiful.
that's where I kind of look at my stuff is
Right.
the area.
Yep.
Right. That's if it's in a bad area, I don't even play with it. But I'm
Yeah.
always like, where is this now? I'm
Yeah.
like, ooh, hold on. Tillamook, there's cheese right next door.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, so I'm all game.
Right?
I mean,
Yeah, can we run to the dairy?
I'm
back?
pretty easy. I'm a pretty easy guy at the end of the day. Any desire for like a Western States?
Not really, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, because it's Western states.
Sure.
Right. But it's too hot.
Yeah, I'm
not-
with you, man.
It's all running and it's too hot.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Two things that don't appeal to me that much.
I've paced that one and crewed it, and it was a cool experience.
Right.
But I'm kind of that way. I'm like, I know there's people. It's like the Boston-ish, right?
Right.
For hundreds, and I get why.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But there's so many other races. Honestly, I'd rather do because of all the elements, right? And I think that's the difference. What about Europe?
Europe would be awesome.
Yeah, like a UTMB type stuff.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
it really would be.
Okay.
Really need to start putting in the work to
Sure.
qualify for those things, right? Because it's a job now.
Well, and you got to have some super mass skills with stones and tickets and however it works, man. I'm still confused. I go to their sites and I'm always still confused, and I read them like, I don't. Can someone tell me how to do this?
Well, like the first time I looked at it, I'm like, I don't know what this means. Maybe I'll come back when I'm serious because I have no idea. Like I know I have to run certain races now, but yeah, I mean for sure it is. I lived in Europe for 2 years. So
when you're in the military?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And you weren't a runner then?
No, I was a drinker then.
Okay. Were you a road cyclist? Is that where that came from? Little Tour de France type stuff, walking around in your Lycra?
I wish I'd have done anything like that, right? I was into drinking and partying and having fun and being a 19-year-old.
Oh, 19 in Europe. Yeah. Where were you stationed?
I was in Germany. Ramstein.
Yeah, that's probably,
right.
Probably should have sent you to like Nebraska.
I know, right? Well, they did send me the desert for 8 months, so there's that out of that 2 years. So, yeah. But anyway, yeah, I think Europe would be awesome for sure. It's definitely right. I mean, it's Europe.
Yeah.
Beautiful. It's an amazing place. Why would you not want to go there?
I don't know. It's still on my to-do bucket list for sure.
Yeah.
So, well, man, I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Oh, thanks.
We wanted to have you on. Super big energy, even when you're here. It's fun. I think that's the end of it. Like you talk about running is fun. That's why the podcast is there, because we have fun, and it's always fun to learn things. So, I've got a little lightning round question for you. So I like to finish my podcast with some quick hitters. They're not thinkers. You can't think on them or you get buzzed. I just go, buzz you and move you on. But we'll start with some easy stuff.
All right.
It's probably all easy for you because you got quick answers. So here we go. Solo run or group run?
Solo
run. All right. Average miles per week. We kind of talked about that.
Yeah, 40, 50, somewhere around there.
That's kind of your average.
Yeah.
Not training.
Yeah.
Favorite aid station food?
Ooh, man, meat.
That's a category.
Yeah,
I love it.
Whole category. Anything meat, right?
Okay, you ran the Bear this year.
Yeah.
What's the aid station after Beaver Mountain again? That one is
that Gibson?
Gibson.
Okay,
Did you eat some sausage there?
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
I don't know. 75 miles in. 80 miles in, whatever. It was good to me, I guess.
All right. That's all I wanted. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
They did have tater tots. I asked for potatoes for my guy, and like, we don't have potatoes, but we have tater tots. And they confused me. And I was like the pacer, and I'm like, I just started, but I'm a little confused. So I figured it out.
Yeah. There you go.
What's your favorite part of trail running?
I think the community, honestly.
Yeah.
It has to be. Right. I mean, I could say the wilderness, I could say being out alone or whatever, but man, this group of people is amazing.
Yeah.
There's so little people that you don't want to be around. It's so rare that I run across somebody. I'm like, I got to get away from this guy. I mean, it's not happened, but it's very, very
I can
fun.
name them, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that 100%. Do you have a running or racing superstition?
Yeah. I will not wear the race shirt until I finish the race.
Oh, I don't. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I've DNF'd a race before, and I already had the race shirt, and I got rid of it.
Yeah.
I
don't even think I could ever. If I didn't finish it, I probably would never wear it.
Yeah.
You got to earn that thing.
Yeah, I agree.
I see people running in them. I'm like, good for you.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Maybe they're thinking it brings them race day mojo.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I can't wear clothes that haven't been washed yet, so that's why I don't.
Same.
That's why.
Exactly the same, man.
People give me credit for like, I gotta wash this before I wear it, no matter what it is. And like, really? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, it's been here. I'm like, I need to wash it.
Yep.
Come on, folks.
Right.
Bucket list adventure, not race, but adventure run you still want to do.
Man, I think unsupported stuff is really appeals to me. I've done it, semi-supported stuff before, right? So I think if I was to do anything, it'd be like rim to rim to rim.
Okay. Have you done that one or no? Still on your
Into the Grand Canyon. I was not a runner. I said, well, it's a cool hole in the earth. I was in my ignorant days. And now I'm just like, that really appeals to me.
Nice.
Right? I mean, it's not a race, obviously, but that would just be, I'd love to do it.
I think as a ultra runner.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you can't just say trail because it is not easy with vert and distance. I think that's almost a rite of passage.
Right.
It really is. It's just such a neat experience. And I've done it a couple times, and my wife's done it now, but I've talked to people that, like yourself, that's like, I really want to do it. It's like, it's kind of like that must thing. It's not a race, but it almost makes it funner.
Right.
To be honest with you, because you can just take your time and chill, and you do what you need to do.
Yep.
Favorite race performance and why? And we may have touched that one.
Yeah. I think, I honestly think it was Tusher's.
Yeah.
Tusher's 100K, man, because it terrified me.
So what made it so special then and such a good day?
I think the way I finished it, I was like running the last 6-8 miles, right?
Wow.
It's still really difficult.
Sure.
The finish is up a ski run. It's not down the ski run. It's up a ski
That's
run.
horrible.
It's horrible.
Shame on you.
It's so mean. So it was like, I think I met some really cool people. A guy that I met, he was pacing a guy that I ran with. He's paced me twice since then.
Nice.
So, I mean, it's like, yeah, it was really beautiful. I nailed everything. I figured out I trained hard enough. I did minimal crew. I had no pacer, anything like that. It's not a 100-miler, but it's still 100K, right? And it's a long one. I mean, there's 17,000 feet of vert in that thing.
That's a beast.
So it was, I think, just the way the whole day went. I nailed it. Felt great. Felt great to like run it in and like get way under what I thought I would.
And feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a good feeling.
Oh.
Yeah. I miss those. I miss those days. Long those days. I'm interested here too because I've seen some stuff. What's your favorite trail running shoe?
Nordas.
Nordas. Yeah.
All day.
So tell me why.
Because
they're not mainstream.
Right.
You don't see a lot of them out on the trail.
No, you really don't.
And
they're very expensive.
They are.
I mean, as far as super trail shoes now, I mean, super shoes, whatever you call them, they're just normal now. I mean, people charge a lot of money for shoes these days.
So how many miles can you get on a pair of
1,000
Nordas?
miles.
Really?
Yeah.
So and that's the thing. So I wear Speedlands.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And people, those aren't cheap either.
No.
But I'm like, but I can get at least double what I can get out of $180 shoe.
Right.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's like, there is that trade-off because some people are like, I can't believe you spend that much on shoes.
Right.
And it's like, well,
Yeah.
I could buy 2 pair.
Yes.
Right. And sometimes, I hate to say it, but sometimes those $180 shoes, I've seen it before where they don't. I had a pair I ran El Vaquero in.
Yeah.
I had 9 miles on them before the race and they broke. And I had to run a race without my shoes tied
That sucks.
all the way. Right.
Yeah.
So, but I'm curious on the Nords. I want to try some, but I can't find anybody that carries them.
Right.
You have to order them.
Yeah, you do have to order them. Backcountry has them now.
Okay.
REI has them now.
They do. So are they true to size?
I don't have a choice.
Okay.
I wear 14s. So it's the max size anyway.
Okay.
People say go a half size up.
See, that's where I struggle when shoes do that. I'm
Right.
like, God, man,
Just make it a
can we
size.
have like a universal situation
It
here?
bugs me so bad. I mean, I'm pretty limited. Again, I wear 14s,
that's
so I
a
don't
shoe.
have a choice.
Yeah.
But I've never had a shoe feel like it was a part of my foot the way they do.
Okay. And are you a techie into the tech on a shoe? Do you
little
know
bit.
the drop on them, the
No.
stack height?
No, I
Okay.
have a clue.
Okay.
I
So
like-
that's my
They
world.
feel squishy. Right? They're super light.
Okay. Do you know is there different models, right?
Yes. So there's 3. Well, there's 2 running ones, and they have 3 total.
Okay.
Right. And they're about to drop a 4th one in February or something like
Are you like, do you work with them at all? Do
Nope.
they help you out?
that. Nope. I just spent a lot of money on those
What a
shoes.
bunch of chumps.
I know. Love you, Norda. No. No, I bought they had a sale. I bought a bunch of pairs because
There
they
you
were
go.
cheap. But so, I mean, if I can get 1,100 miles, literally my first 2 pair of 1,100 miles.
It's okay.
And I can still run in them.
Okay, because this is another. We're way off the lightning round. But this is it. I'm a shoe guy.
Yeah.
And we're having a Christmas guide coming up, so you can technically get as many miles on a shoe as you want.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, people
Right.
say that.
Right.
But how I knew on the Speedland is I had a pair I'd had 500 and plus miles in, but then I got a brand new pair.
Yeah.
And I put them side by side and put them on, and that's how I knew is like, they don't feel much different. They did
Right.
feel a little different, obviously, brand new, but it wasn't enough to where I'd really notice it.
Right.
So do you feel that way with Nord? Like I get 1,100, but I mean, I've seen people get way too many miles out of a shoe, and I'm like, God, man, like those are like
shoes, man.
those are like
I can see your
tap
toes.
shoes.
Yeah. I think I go off grip, right?
Okay.
If I'm sliding around. So those older ones.
So the
like I said,
outsole's bomb proof.
Right.
Then. Okay.
I mean, it's crazy. It's literally crazy. I looked at my shoes this morning. They have 400 miles on them. I'm like, that's 400 miles. Looks like that's insane. So I mean, I've really never felt more attached to a shoe though. My foot doesn't slide at all.
How did you get over to Norda?
I don't even remember. Honestly, I think I just tried them because, again, having size 14, none of the cool models that shoes sell them past 13.
I gotcha.
So no Solomons, none of their cool Solomon shoes. You can't buy them in 14s. So I noticed Speedland didn't have them yet. So they were still in 13. So I had to wait. Now they have them in 14s, which I tried them, and they don't fit my foot the way they do. Right. But now, I mean, I'm so attached to these. I don't want to run anything else.
Do you do the 001 or the 002? So and I just pulled them up because I'm interested. So the 001s are the ultra cushion between the two, because those are the two shoes. $285 retail. Right. So we're kind of in the Speedland world. Yep. Kind of this very similar thing. And I remember when Speedlands came out, I'm like, who's paying that much money for? Now, do these have carbon?
Nope.
Okay, so because Speedlands, you have to pay extra for those, but you can put them in or out, which I think is genius.
Absolutely. Because you don't need them all the time.
I just leave them in there. I don't even know if they make a difference for a guy like me, but you know what? Yeah. Who cares? People like
the only complaint that I've heard, and the only issue I had early, was the way that it sits on your Achilles.
Which ones?
So the 001s, the Nordas.
Okay.
So they're a little bit higher back there, and there's no heel padding.
Okay.
So there's no padding in the upper at all.
Okay.
There's like a really small like gel around the heel a little, but I think for the most part that's what helps them out.
Okay.
Is there's nothing to like. When you tie them tight, they're going to stay there. They're not going to move. Your foot's not going to slide. You roll your ankle, the shoe's coming with you, not your foot, tweaking halfway through the shoe, right?
You're snapping it in half, right? You're not rolling it.
Yeah. And I mean, I just am baffled I can get that many miles out of it.
No,
I mean,
that's
I'm
impressive.
not a small guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a lot of weight on that foam, but I mean, you can feel 1,000 miles on a shoe.
Sure.
But no, honestly, like you're saying, it's not that much different than my
impressive.
brand new ones.
So they're saying their stack height is 5 mil, and they're 26-21. So 26 mil in the heel and 21 in the forefoot. So they're ultra cushion in a lot of ways.
Right.
Is mid cushion.
I mean,
because like Hoka's, you're getting into the 30s now, even the 40s in drop. So. Yeah, because when they first came out, I was interested, and I think you were one of the first ones I saw wearing them live. Yeah, I guess they're a good-looking shoe.
Oh yeah,
and I think
they're awesome.
I
they
love
got good colors.
I mean, I've got my green Speedland. Yeah, I haven't even put them on the trail yet because I'm like, don't want to get them dirty.
yeah. I really like the way they look. I really like how light they are. Honestly, it's so funny because I'll try other shoes on.
Sure.
And I own other shoes. I haven't run in them in years.
Yeah,
I've run pretty much exclusively in those for almost 2 full years now.
Right on.
I mean, thousands of miles on them.
I think you should be part of their group then. I mean, there can't be a ton of size 14 people that wear these shoes.
Yeah.
So they've got stock.
Right? I mean, come on now.
I think they should be like, hey, Michael, you're killing it. Here's some shoes. Here's a T-shirt. Yeah. We're going to give you a hat.
There you go.
Right? I think, why not? Yeah. All right, we'll talk to him. We'll see what happens. That's what we do here. Anyway, thanks for the info on that.
Yeah,
I'm a gear junkie.
Right.
That's a weakness. And a shoe is my shoes and jackets.
Oh man,
all day long.
How many hoodies and jackets I own?
All day long. It's in fact, I got to go purge this weekend my closet a little bit because I might have got another jacket on its way. So my new rule is if I bring one in, I got to send one out.
Yeah,
I haven't done that for a while, but it's a rule. It's a soft rule.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, hey man, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Well, thank you.
Really appreciate it. I'm sure we'll have you back on, especially to hear about your hard rock adventure. Yeah. That's going to be super fun to hear about. That's awesome. Called throwing it into the world, folks.
Nice.
But yeah, thanks for coming on. Good luck with what you're doing. You're killing it. Love your attitude. I mean, you're exactly what this sport is to me, and I think it's always refreshing to have more of that coming in. And it's always good, like you're bringing people in. You're one of those bad friends that that people shouldn't hang out with because then you're going to start running again. But at least you're teaching them the right thing. Yeah. Enjoy it. Have fun. Oh, it's the worst friends. I hate friends like that, and I'm probably one of those as well.
Yeah,
but
you know it.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks again for coming on.
Oh, thank you.
We'll catch you again. Thanks everybody for listening to the Trail Manners podcast. Again, Michael Whiteside. This is episode 336. You can check out the show notes for more information. And again, stay tuned. We got our 2-part series Christmas gift guide, and we have some killer co-hosts coming on. We've got those lined up and plenty more shows coming in December. Again, my name's Eric Manning. This is the Trail Manners Podcast. Happy November. We are out. Thank you for listening to the Trail Manners Podcast. I'd like to thank Michael Whiteside for taking the time to join us today. I also want to encourage everyone to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Trail Manners, or swing by our website, trailmanners.com. There you can click on the donate button or check out the store page for some cool Trail Manners swag. And both donations and purchases sure help the show. And you can always hit us up on the contact page or email me at trailmanners@gmail.com and let me know what you'd like to see, who you want to hear, or even if you would like to be on the show. And don't forget to share us with your friends. And if you could take just a minute to subscribe to the show and leave us a rating or review on iTunes or Facebook, I would greatly appreciate that. And don't worry, all these links are in the show notes. Check those out. Until next time, this is Eric Manning still reminding you, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. Now go get it.